Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 688 of the DrunkNerds Podcast. I'm host as always. I'm Tyler, and join me we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Oh, I'll tell you what, man, not much. The the workplace is busy as usual, watching a bit of football stuff during parts of it during like Thursday and stuff. That was interesting. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year and stuff that on the Niners bingo card, Mac Jones would be like 3-0 on different starts, and on top of that, like go ahead and win without guys like Pearsall, Jennings, Kittle, and like just the big best
Bosa.
things of your offensive starters and stuff, and have Kendrick Bourne and stuff like over 140 some odd yards. Yeah, yeah, I would not have believed a single word of it. But other than that, though, still doing like the fantasy football stuff, and it's been sort of interesting because I have a couple different like sleeper leagues. So it's like there's the one that I know you and I are both in for talking ship, and there's like just a random one I joined and stuff for the our talking ship league. I'm currently 3-1 and stuff, and I've had absolutely terrible luck with the running backs. I mean, absolutely terrible luck. So to put in grand scheme of things, I drafted guys like Bucky Irving, like Chuba Hubbard, and stuff like that for running backs. And on top of that, I thought, okay, well, James Conner's going to be a good pick, for the flex. And then the first 4 weeks of the season come and goes. James Conner falls down to like a season-ending injury and stuff. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can go ahead and get Trey Benson. Okay, well, unless like Fisherman trade out our our commissioner went ahead and picked up Trey Benson off a waiver wire. So I'm like, oh well, all right, well, he needs a wide receiver and stuff, and he got like a he has the running back I want because it's going to be increased workload. So I trade off George Pickens because I know George Pickens is only going to have a couple of weeks before like CD Lamb comes back and stuff and can take away some bit of attention. And ironically enough, not only does he last for one game, but he's on IR now after just 1 week. And on top of that, this the last week saw both my starting running back Bucky Irving and also my second running back Chuba Hubbard both out with simultaneous injuries. So let's just say the start of the year hasn't been exactly like crazy good for like running back stuff for me. But at the same point, though, the other league and stuff that I'm in, I'm like 1-3. I lost Malik Neighbors for the year
Yeah.
because he was my first pick, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do Bucky for the second pick, like Neighbors for the first pick because I got pick number I think it was 11 or 12 or something in that league. And yeah, man, I could have easily been 2-2, but I forgot to set like my different like lineup during that time and stuff. And yeah, it's just been kind of like hit and miss for some aspects of it. Like in the total, I'm like in four different leagues, two inside of Sleeper, two inside the NFL fantasy stuff, and like I am like 2-2 for the both leagues inside of like the NFL fantasy, and then like 3-1 and one, and then like 1-3 in the other. It's just getting like a little bit of like experience in terms of the grand scheme of things. Because pretty much it's just a gigantic roll of the dice. I mean, you can
Yeah.
go through and you can watch any type of like videos or use any type of different websites for trade grades or some like say Trade Calc or like Roto Trade or whatever the hell. And then all it it'll only help you to some extent, including like watching YouTube vids of like different people as well. But you're still just rolling the dice. It's like another thing of like a roulette type of thing. Okay, well, maybe he'll have a good game here, maybe he'll have a good game there. It's kind of similar to that when you akin it to certain things like with video games and stuff, like say, for example, when we do our fantasy critics stuff every year, it's like, well, we're thinking this game is going to be a great game, and then all of a sudden it just gigantically bombs and
Yeah.
stuff.
Or gets delayed. It's like, oh, it's definitely gonna
Oh,
happen.
absolutely.
Yeah. Like
Oh
drafting
yeah.
Silk
Yeah,
Song.
man, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
with our fantasy like critics stuff, I think I've had like multiple picks like this year, all of a sudden just like, oh well, it's gonna get delayed into next year. Or hey,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
never even tried to came out at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that though and stuff, other than that though, I have played like some bit of games this past week. I didn't really get a chance to go into Silent Hill like I thought I had gone into, but I had been playing another game. Actually, no, not another game, but I've just been playing more of like Shinobi Art of Vengeance and
Oh,
stuff.
nice.
But otherwise and stuff, how have you been doing, Tyler?
I'm all right. Clinging and banging as always. Still out there, job hunting, all that. Not fun. Don't. If you don't have to, don't recommend it. It's a very depressing place to be. But yeah, I'm doing okay though. Otherwise, been enjoying the. We're going into the fall season here. It sucks though, because it's my favorite time of year. We get in the spooky season, drinking the Oktoberfest and all that. It's still goddamn 90 degrees though here in Iowa. So, I'm like, mentally, I'm in hoodie and jeans weather, but I'm still have to go outside in t-shirt and shorts. So in my slides. So I'm not too pumped about that. But I guess I'll take this over winter though. But I'm doing okay. We did get a new Taylor Swift album. That was pretty nice. That dropped Thursday night.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Life of a Showgirl. Banging album. I wasn't a big fan of was it Dead Poet? I can't remember what the last one was called. I listened to it like 3 times. Like, not for me. So I'm a big Swiftie, but I'm like, there's certain, I like the more poppy Taylor Swift, So this was kind of return the form for this one, so I was really happy about it. It was kind of nice. It dropped like right at 11 o'clock my time, at Central Time, and like I use YouTube Music. That pretty much crashed, and then I went to Spotify, and I'm like, Spotify basically was like just wouldn't even load. So I'm like, it was like a Silk Song situation here. Or like finally like. Yeah,
a DDoS on Spotify.
Yeah, I'm like, man, Spotify's struggling. We're this is a bad time. So, because I have that YouTube Premium, so I get like that's why you YouTube Music. And finally, like 11:05, it popped up, and I was able to listen to it. And I listened to it Thursday night 5 times in a row, and played Hades.
Lord.
Played Hades 2. Although Gables, I will say, I got my first clear in Hades 2 while listening to Taylor Swift. Coincidence? Probably, but I'm not gonna assume it is. I'm gonna give all the credit to my girl, Taylor Swift. Although I was really disappointed to find out, Gables, that Travis Kelce does have a huge hog. Some guys just get all the luck. He's good looking. He's got these super charismatic. He's got 3 Super Bowl rings. Gets to play with Patrick Mahomes. He's got like the hottest girl in the world. He's a millionaire, and he's got a huge hog. Like, does he have to have everything? I do want to see the Google trends on the amount of people that Googled Redwood after that album came out. I want to look that up. But no, it was pretty. I don't know, I'm doing okay. Just been trying to enjoy it best I can. Trying to enjoy my little time off here, because God knows, like, this stuff doesn't happen super duper often. So trying to make the best of it. I've been playing a decent amount of video games. I didn't go as ham on video games as I did like last week with like Death Stranding 2. So, but I had played a few though. Yeah, like Hades 2, I got my first clear in that one. And I need to go back in. I've only done one more attempt since then. I died. So I'm going to keep going in, but I'm making a lot of progress in that one. But, yeah, other than that, I had 2 other games I played. We'll talk about those at the end.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I'm doing pretty decent, Gables. But yeah, anyways, if you guys like the show, like what we're doing, please like, follow, subscribe. Check out our podcast. We're on everything, Apple, Spotify, wherever. YouTube is the best place, though, really, if you can go there, subscribe to us. Click the bell if you want to. I don't click the bell, so I'm not saying you don't have to. But we appreciate if you did. Hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, help us out on the algorithms, basically. If you're on Apple or Spotify, 5-star reviews, whatever you can help us out with in the algorithms, we really appreciate it. There are links down below in the show notes, but if you want to just go to those places, look up Drunk Nerds, Nerds, you should find us. We don't really have any really honestly, the YouTube is the best way to support us, and we do have, if you want to, for $1 a month, you can sign up for our membership, and just a way of saying thank you. We don't have like anything extra to give you, but it's just a way to say like, hey, we like what we're doing, and like maybe $1 doesn't sound like a lot to you, but it adds up after a while for us. So we already got some out there that do that for us, and we appreciate it. Help us out there. Plus, we have to you have to make $100 before you can actually cash out that money. It'd be nice if we get there faster. But yeah, Daddy needs a new DualSense, because I'm thinking my DualSense is getting stick drift, so it's not great. But yeah, my Forza Xbox controller got stick drift. Now my freaking my pink DualSense is getting stick drift. So, and I think my God of War one already has stick drift. I'm not having the greatest luck here. So, yeah, so it's not looking great for me. But anyways, Gables is like
You can always
showing
get
off.
Fire and Ice.
Well, fuck you, Gables. Okay, I still have my Astrobot one, and I do have a white one, so I have 4 of them. But it's like I want to use the pink one. I paid a lot of money for these. Like this, I have a God of War one. I have a white one. I have the Astrobot one, and then I have my pink one. But I prefer the pink one. But yeah. But anyways, it's very frustrating. And these things are just getting more expensive, and it's ridiculous. So
Yes,
although
they are.
they just put the new God of War one out, I'm like, do I need that one? And I don't. I don't need it. But will I buy it? Coin toss. But anyways,
Coin toss.
Yeah, we'll see how it's going. There might be, Gable. Sometimes I get a little. After the show, I start going on the internet, and I'm like, sometimes I buy some shit. So, but who knows? I'm gonna blame you for it. Anyways, Gables, not been the best week for gaming, at all. we kind of talked about a little bit last week with some of the EA stuff that was breaking before the like Friday night. But really jump into it here, Gables. We're gonna jump into the some of the Game Pass stuff here. So, continues to get more confusing. I'm not gonna go through and break everything down one by one. But basically, there's now 4 tiers. There's like the Xbox Core, which is like kind of like gold, but like they give you a handful. They give you like a bunch of games, like as part of like kind of like Game Pass, as where you get there's a selection of games that you can play on the service. There is Game Pass PC Game Pass, which I think is like $17 a month. I believe the like bottom tier of Game Pass is like, I think it's still $10 or whatever. That's like basically just Xbox Live Gold. There is the Xbox Premium tier, which I believe is $20 a month. That gives you pretty much like all the like main games from Game Pass, except for the day one games from Xbox, which you will get those within. They said all those games will come within a year of release, except for Call of Duty. And then on top, but then there's now the premium or the ultimate tier, which was $20. Now has moved up from $20 to $30. So yeah, that goes into place. I believe that actually might be in place now. But yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't remember exactly because like they announced like that.
I think it was October 3rd.
Okay, was it? Okay, because I know like they announced like the increase of the Xbox consoles, but it was like a week or two later that the price was actually going to kick in. So I wasn't quite sure if that was day one. But yeah, anyway, Gables, we got all this news that kind of came out. What was your initial thoughts when you saw this?
Now, my initial thoughts were kind of surprised that they decided to do it so soon, right after they announced the prices going up on their initial consoles. At the same time, I was also kind of surprised that they dropped this video, right, in terms of like their touting of the certain upgrades and stuff for their Game Pass service and stuff, but make no clear mention in terms of like the prices until after the video goes right there. So yeah, totally not insidious in any way, shape, or form. But in terms of the amount, if this was like maybe a couple dollars or something like that, it'd be okay, incremental. But no, this is full on, like, for especially for the ultimate, it's full on 50% more in terms of that stuff. So for someone, that plays a lot of games or something like that, or, maybe 10 extra dollars isn't going to affect some of them. At the same point, if you're someone that plays Game Pass, you're subscribed to it and stuff, you go to it occasionally, maybe it's not your console of choice, but at the same time, you're still going through because you can think, oh, okay, there's certain games I want to try to play day and date and stuff. Another $10 more. I mean, $30 a month, you look at that from like, say, a casual like gamer's perspective, or even in terms of like someone that has some interest in trying to play stuff on Xbox stuff, it's not going to be as appealing because you're getting to the point now where you look at the amount that you pay per month, combine it through the rest of the year, it's basically like $360, ironically.
Yeah, that's what the Xbox 360 meant all along.
Oh, I know. I mean, for the running gag on Twitter and stuff like that, it's been like, well, it's like, we wanted more features like the 360, but we didn't want 360. We didn't want to actually pay $360.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I kind of feel like the cost incremental stuff, I think that hardly anybody would have too much issue with it if it wasn't for the fact that just out of the get-go, it's just a full shotgun blast of like, okay, 50% hike. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And this comes off the heels of like the previous like, oh god, like over the past couple of weeks and stuff from like certain Xbox stuff being taken off from brick and mortar retailers, right? Like say from Costco, and we've already known of things about certain other retailers like Best Buy and Walmart. I mean, it's just one of those things where the Xbox consoles are having trouble selling as it was before doing the initial price hikes on them. But on top of that, now you're seeing Game Pass start to become so hyper, even more expensive than what it initially was. I mean, it is a really big like punch in the gut. Absolutely. You could say things about tariffs, you can say things about certain increments and stuff, but yet I'm still of the belief it's up. If you're paying for a gaming console and stuff, and then like you look at the initial stuff, I mean, that same type of price you could pay for month and stuff, you could just select a different game or something from that Xbox storefront, pay for that, and then just have a hell of a lot of fun just doing that, and just instead of like if you just want to use it just to buy what you want to play, yeah, that's fine.
Mm.
But that's ultimately it sucks all the way around for everybody involved because hey, you're paying more out of the gut and stuff. But yet, what I will say is if you're playing like video games like a lot, especially on the Xbox service, it's not going to be that big of a blow to you in some retrospect because you already know how much of a good deal this thing is because it's providing you with day one content for some major releases. Obviously, looking it up on the Xbox service and then the rest of the year, you still got like Outer Worlds 2 that's coming out. I mean, you've had
Keeper's
access
coming.
to games like what's that?
Keeper, the Psychonauts team.
Oh, that's right. Yes, the
That's
Psychonauts
coming
Steve's
like
next
2 weeks.
game, Keeper. I mean, that's
Yeah.
also a game that's coming out as well. But yeah, if you're frequently using it and stuff, I mean, what's $10 extra to you, especially if you're really knee deep inside of that ecosystem.
Mm.
But yeah, it's just one of those things where it just kind of it's negative all the way around, except for maybe like one particular subset. But
Yeah.
overall, I just feel kind of frustrated by it.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Like I've talked about, like I'm pretty savvy. I think with like when it comes to like like gaming is I've said this a decade ago, 13 when we started this podcast in 2013. I was on my video games is an expensive hobby, and I've always felt like I've been pretty try to be as pretty savvy as I possibly can be with like finding
Mm.
deals. Like I'll pay money ahead of time to like to save money down the line. Like I'll see deals where like a PSN gift card is like it's $100 PSN gift card is $90. I'm like, well, I don't need anything now, but I know I'm gonna buy something later, so pay the money now, and I'll see. Obviously, like it's, everybody's different, and like sometimes like I get like you can't just on a whim drop $100 or $90, whatever, and even
Right.
save
Right.
$10 later. I get that. Like I've talked about like even with the price increases going from like going from 15 to 17 to 20, like I've never paid like there's been a very few times where I paid the full $15 a month, let alone like I would constantly like they'd have like Black Friday, I'd always get them on like for pretty cheap, find deals on them or like wait for sales and just load up on like 9 months or because like they change it's like you can only go like a year in advance. There are ways around it
Mhm.
though. But like I've always waited for deals, and I've jumped on those. It's like I like even like when this deal went down, like some sites were still selling them at $20 a month, so I immediately bought 6 more months of Game Pass for the at like I ended up getting them like they're like $55 for 3 months, so like it's like $5 off basically. I got six more months for basically save $10. But I'm actually like I'm good till the end of January 2027. Um, so like I'm good for a while. So obviously, like, look, I'm someone that's like a hardcore in the ecosystem, and like I've defended Game Pass for a long time. I've like not defended like the price increases. Like I get the frustration. I'm not defending that. This is not me riding the dick for Xbox here. God knows I will never do any of that for like especially Microsoft, $4 trillion company. But like I'm someone that's always been like a pretty hardcore proponent of like I think Game Pass is a good deal, and I get it's like people like want to make fun of it and rip on. And I always think it's weird that like regular consumers like you and I, like Gables, we've been doing this for 12 years. We do this because we love video games and we like video games.
Yeah.
So like we don't like we get like codes every now and again, but it's like it's like it's usually indie games and it's not super duper often. So it's like maybe like, I don't know, a half dozen times over the last couple of years we've gotten codes for games.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, like we are some of that buy our own games and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm, you know, some of that pays for Game Pass. And it's like, I've always like, even at the $20 a month thing, like I still thought it was like a good deal. And like, I was always very confused by like people like ripping on, like, okay, I feel like it's like one of those things where like, okay, some YouTuber said this, that like, and this isn't me trying to rip on content creators to get codes for free or whatever. Like, I'm not that guy that's going to like rip on those people that like, oh, you get games for free, you don't pay for games, so you don't understand it. Like, I'm not saying that, but like, it is weird to like, okay, like, but like, okay, like that $30 like, or that $20 a month, like maybe like some of them seems kind of crazy, but like some like people like us, like, I don't know, it's like, that's not a bad deal. And like, even at $30 a month, Gables, I was thinking about it. I'm like, even at $30 a month, to me, it's like, like if I was paying $30 a month, like, yeah, there might be a month where I'm like I like, it's like every streaming service to me where like I might go a month without using Netflix at all or barely using it, and then I'll go a month where like a bunch of stuff comes out I want to watch, or I just start like, I get really into a TV show on there, and I end up spending, like, that's the one streaming service I use that a ton. I get more than the whatever it costs a month, you know, like everybody's different. Everything means like, hell, like I got Peacock for a year for $20 last year, and they sent me like, I canceled it, like I canceled it before like the re-up, and they sent me an offer for $30 for a year. I'm like, okay, it's like less than $3 a month. I'm like, even like at $30 a year, I'm just like, yeah, it's not worth it to me. Like I'm like, no, I said no. Like that $250 a month, you know, it's like there's like literally no reason for me to have this thing. I don't use it. Like I like really, like outside of like I'm an Iowa, I live in Iowa. I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan. There's like one exclusive game on there a year, and it worked out perfectly where they had their one game last week, and my subscription for that ended like 2 days later. And I'm like, cool, I don't need this anymore. I'm good. You know, and it's like, you know, everybody's different. You know, like I remember for a long time I didn't have Netflix, and I was like complaining about the price point to my dad, and it was like $25 a month. And my dad's like, it's like the one thing we use. Like, he's like 90% of the time we're watching TV, it's like we're watching Netflix, and it's like, okay. And that was like the first time where I'm like, all right, yeah, like okay, like it's crazy to me, but to him it's like, no, that's like a good deal. And like, I get it, it sucks. I'm not like, believe me, like it's one of those things, like gaming is getting crazy. Like I've always said, gaming is an expensive hobby, and it is definitely this year especially feels like it is becoming a very, very expensive hobby where like I can't imagine, like, you know, I'm lucky in the sense of like it's just me, so I don't have kids, I don't have a wife, you know, like I don't have like other people depend on me for like, you know, for financial needs really. So it's like, you know, if I have, you know, extra income, I can just kind of, you know, as long as my bills are paid, you know, I can just buy a game I want to play, you know, and like, or Game Pass. So like the way I look at it, like, you know, like, okay, like Outer Worlds 2 is coming out. I'm super pumped for that game. I would gladly pay $70 for it. And okay, $30 a month, like that's a lot of money. I get it. And like, I understand, well, I'll just buy the game itself. I'm like, okay, but like, if you're someone that's going to buy the game and play it over and over again, I get that. That's not the way I am. I'm someone that's going to buy this game. I'm probably going to play it through one time, and maybe 3 years down the line, I might play it again. But odds are, most likely I'm not. So for me, it's worth that. And plus, you know, I'm someone, I do like the trying out games. There are a lot of indie games that come out in that thing, or smaller AA games that come out in that thing that I like to check out or play. And like, I talked about like last year, I broke my ankle at work, and I was out for 6 months. I was like, I talked about on this podcast, like Game Pass for me in a lot of ways, for a guy that was in a boot for 4 months and couldn't really go anywhere, was stuck on a couch. Like Game Pass was a godsend to me, because like that was like the thing that like I just kept finding, because I was stuck on a couch. Like I like jumping into Persona 3 and playing like 80 something hours of that, or like all these like just picking up random games, like going back to older games and playing those ones, and just gave me this like slew of options. Like, you know, I'm like, man, like that was definitely like, I made so much money out of that, or saved so much money out of that. And like, also, you know, just like, you know, passing the time by when you're stuck on a couch, stuff like that. So anyway, obviously that's you know, the odds of that happening are very, very rare. And hopefully, knock on wood, never happen again. And like I said, I'm not trying to defend it. I'm not at all. I get it. This is insane. A $10 price increase, that's a lot of money. Like if it was, like you said, Gables, if it was $2, like, I mean, we everybody lost their fucking mind, went from 15 to 17, and then from 17 to 20. And I'm like, it's $2, it's $3. I'm like, how? Okay, like what are we complaining about here? It's like, I remember when like HBO Max went from $15 to $16 a month, and people were like losing their mind. I'm like, it's $1. I'm like, is it real? Like, okay, if like, okay, there's probably a lot of people that are paying for it, and like, oh wait, like I'm like probably like I'm paying for this thing. Well, I'll just cancel it. Like that, like maybe there's people like that, but I'm like, for me, it's like, okay, if there's like for that small amount of money, I'm like, that's not gonna do it for me. $10 though, I get it. Like we seen it, like the Xbox, the page for like the cancel was like it crashed, you know, like it was down for a good chunk of the day.
It crashed, not just on the website, but also on the system stuff as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm in a weird spot with it because it's like, on one hand, like it is insane to me. It is like we have never seen a price jump like that on a subscription service, on any of them. Like this is like,
no,
I mean, like Netflix, like it's insane. Like Netflix, like how expensive it's got, like how much it goes up. Like they do like multiple price increases a year, but it's always $1 or $2 at a time, you know, or like Hulu and stuff. Like Hulu's like $20 a month now, but like it went up from like, you know, it went up $1 or $2 a month over years. So it's like, okay, it's like, oh, well, I'm already paying 12. What's 13? Oh, I'll pay 13. What's 15? You know, it's like it slowly trickles up there, you know, but to like just see this wild 20 to 30. I will say though, I forgot to mention this up top. They did that at Ubisoft Classic, which for some people that, you know, they have there's a 20 years of games on there. There's a lot of great games. I mean, I know Ubisoft lately has not maybe been the best, but Ubisoft, there's a reason they've been around for a very long time. So I mean, like, you know, so we can't fully shit on it. And like, hey, it's not the worst thing in the world, and like it's something. But I think honestly a big key thing here is, it was funny. Like I was talking to one friend, and he was like ripping on it, and he didn't realize they added the Fortnite crew thing to it. He's like, oh fuck, I might have to keep it. It's like, he's like, I'm already paying for this thing. I'm actually gonna save $2 a month because like Fortnite crew I think is $12 a month, and you know, if a Game Pass was 20. So you go from 30 and you get Fortnite crew thrown in there. They're down. You save $2 a month there. So like, it's someone like me that like, I don't play Fortnite all the time. I usually jump in for like a season or jump in for like a month here and there. You know, just kind of like whenever. It's like someone like me, like I'll like that's definitely gonna be like one more reason to like jump into it, like, and keep this thing around. Like, all right, and then honestly, it's kind of a brilliant idea because like, I'll look at it like this. There's a lot of people that were playing like Fortnite on PlayStation or somewhere else. And now they might just start playing on Xbox. And like we talk about all the time, like maybe these things don't move units or sell a ton of, like we're not selling a lot of big AAA games like we used to, but like most money comes nowadays when gaming from, you know, DLC and microtransactions, stuff like that. And it's like these games, these consoles still make a ton of fucking money taking a 30% cut on selling, you know, microtransactions and DLC. So it's like, yeah, like that's not the worst idea. And it's like, yeah, someone like me that's like, cool, I'm gonna jump in and play this thing. I will say though, Gables, like the way I look at it though is like, I'm into this like with Xbox, with this console. At least I'll be someone that probably has Game Pass through the end of the generation, and maybe a little bit into the next generation. But I will say though, like when it comes to like buying games from now on, like if I'm buying like unless it's exclusive, which if it's exclusive, most likely it's gonna be on Game Pass. Like when the PS6 comes out and the next Xbox comes out, I'll like, with these games coming to PlayStation on day one or not too long after, I will say this though, yeah, like especially with the price point of what these games, like the PS6 and like whatever the Xbox, these things are gonna be like $800 to $1,000. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna like the way I look at it, like I'm probably not gonna buy many, if any, any games on my Xbox Series X through the end of the generation. Like this might just solely become a Game Pass machine, and that's it. After like, you know, like I bought Madden and college football on my console this past year, and that's a whole nother subject for later. But it's like I look at like when the new console comes out, I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy a PS6, and then I'm probably just gonna buy a la carte the Xbox games I want, because like it's like, okay, it was easy for me to buy an Xbox Series X and pay the $15 a month at the beginning of the generation. I'm like, cool, I'm getting all these games that are exclusive on here, and I'm saving a ton of money playing a lot of these, like all these games. There's a lot of indie games. There's a lot of, you know, AA games that come on this thing that like I get to play that I was already gonna buy, or I'm gonna play and check out because they're on here. Like even like a game like Clear Obscure, like that was a game that like I was kind of looking forward to, and then it came out, and it was like It was brilliant, and I played it on Game Pass. I didn't pay for it. It was awesome. It's probably my game of the year. So I don't know, Gables. I mean, future wise for Xbox, though, how are you feeling about with all this? Like, are you kind of feeling the same way I am?
Honestly, I'm kind of feeling like I kind of feel like this was probably a bad move for Xbox in the long run because you're trying to correct a lot of things with the PR like nightmare stuff that you've had the past couple of weeks and for the better part of the past couple of years anyway, and then like just having more subsequent bad news come out like not even like a week after the whole headlines and stuff of like Costco taking out like a lot of the Xbox stuff off their store shelves and stuff, and I've seen it firsthand too. I mean, they used to have like Xbox systems in their store, used to have all the cards and everything else, and now it's just gone.
Yeah.
There's just a couple of like there's like a little mini thing for Switch 2 and stuff, and then you have the PlayStation stuff front and center with like the Portal and like the PS5 models and stuff like that. But yeah, I am not really sure, Tyler. I mean, this is not gonna lead to like Xbox really like just getting out of certain aspects of like gaming industry stuff, but this is kind of more or less cementing themselves as like just a service, you
Yeah.
know, for like other systems in the meantime. Because I don't really see a lot of positive stuff coming out for potential hardware releases for Microsoft anytime soon. I mean, I could be wrong with that. I mean, they have their initial collaboration with ROG and stuff like that for their handheld that's coming out later this year, even though that's kind of a pricey
Yeah.
thing itself.
Yeah. That price
But
point dropped last week as well, out of the blue.
yeah, yeah, and it wasn't really received well either.
Yeah. 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 It's like one of the things we knew was gonna be expensive, but it was just like the way it was handled was weird. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like I think the biggest problem with Xbox right now is like it's just they don't. It's been. I mean, we talk. This isn't new news. It's just like I don't know what the plan is, or like they have a plan and like going into this generation, like the end of last generation, going into this generation, it's like we talk all the time. Like okay, like they don't like obviously they want to study the box, but they just want you in the ecosystem with the Game Pass, and like that was
Yep,
the whole thing.
that's exactly what they want.
They bought all these studios to like these smaller studios, like these AA studios, to like, hey, we're gonna just be pumping out. We're gonna have our big like Holy Trinity games. Like maybe we can get like some bigger games, a couple AAA games a year, but then we're gonna fill in those gaps with these like smaller games that we own, these studios that we own, and like that would be the system. And it's like right when it seemed like we're getting there, boom, they bought Activision, and it's like everything changed from there. And then it's like, okay, well now we're gonna have 4 games go to third party, and that's it. And then it's like, boom, Gears of War is now on PlayStation. It's just like it's like, all right, well, Game Pass still the thing we're pushing. Call of Duty is coming day one. Boom, you know, it's just like I don't like we've had 2 price increases. We've had with the consoles. We've had you know like go from July of 2023 to here. We went from $15 to $30 a month, like just over 2 years. Like this thing has doubled in price for Game Pass. Like, yeah, it's just, there's definitely a thing we talk about. I've talked about before, where it's like these like they used to sell these consoles at a loss and make up the money on selling games and selling like nowadays, which is crazier now because like this is pre-internet, and it's like we like now there's microtransactions, there's DLC, there's so many more ways to make money off selling these things, and it's like we're no longer interested in doing that. It's like now we're just trying to make more money off the people that already own this thing. And hopefully they would keep them in the ecosystem. But it's like, it's not great for like long-term growth. It's just like, I keep talking about over and over again. It's just like, this is great short-term maybe for like, you know, shareholders and making the stock go up and making money in the short term. But it's like in 2-3 years, where we're going to be. And it's like, also when like they're taking a lot of this money to invest this money into AI, which is it's very scary, Gables, when you hear about like, you know, read a lot about like AI, and it's just like, they're saying this bubble is like the AI bubble is 13 times bigger than like what the internet bubble was in the late 90s, early 2000s, or where like you know like was it the housing bubble was in like 2008, where it's like if this thing fails, this would be really bad for like a lot of major corporations, and like
Yes,
this is gonna be so much like what we dealt, and like I'm not rooting for this because like this is bad for everybody.
No.
This is like we're the ones that get
Yeah,
punished
absolutely.
in this. The people that like these people that are making these decisions, they're good. They're golden. They have these golden parachutes. They're good forever. They are good for generations upon generations. But it's like they're doing all these things to make these things happen that are fucking us over in the short term. That will most likely like either AI is successful and we're fucked, or the AI blows up and we're fucked. So it's like there's no good conclusion here for us here. So I don't know, Gable. Speaking of fucked, EA, we talked about it a little bit last week. It was kind of like reporting going on out there that they are selling to basically a private equity firm in Saudi Arabia. I kind of went on a little mini rant last week about it, but like we didn't know the full details. It's somehow worse than we thought. So part of this deal is they're paying a 25% premium over what the share price would be for EA. So part of that is they're paying for that is because of it's a private equity firm and also Saudi Arabia. So we see a lot with Saudi Arabia. They pay extraordinary amounts of money over we see WrestleMania for WWE is going to be in Saudi Arabia, and they're paying like $150 million from to go there for something that if Las Vegas paid $5 million for. So it's literally 30 times more than what the price is. Basically go there and Saudi Arabia is great. Women can maybe get driver's license now, guys. But anyways, they're paying that. And maybe the scariest part of this, Gables, is they're taking a $20 billion loan out to help pay for this. So basically, the private equity firm is taking a loan out with EA's credit to then buy EA with it.
That doesn't make any freaking sense to me.
It doesn't sound like it should be legal, right?
No, it definitely should not seem like it should be legal.
Yeah, so that's the big thing here. It is I'm not going to act like I'm a professional here, but I have done a lot of reading to try to listening to try to understand basically what this leverage buyout is basically basically taking a giant loan out to then with the credit of the thing you're buying to then it's a super high interest rate. The odds of you actually being able to pay it back are very, very slim. A lot of companies over the it was an idea that started in the 50s for good reason. Like one of those things where oh, this is a good thing actually, but it was for people were taking $2 million loans out, small loans out to then do this thing. Then obviously it kind of went crazy over the last 20 years. Also might have played a small part in the 2008 crash as well that we might have seen here. But anyways, we've seen a lot of major companies, not a lot, but there's been a lot of Toys R Us. This happened to where they took the same thing happened. Toys R Us was still a profitable company and doing fine, was getting by, but basically because of the interest rate off of the loan they took out, just made the company go bankrupt. This is something that we've seen time and time again. This is the biggest leverage buyout in history by nearly double the previous one. The previous one was 32 billion. This one's 55 billion. Some interesting topics here, though, Gables, to kind of go over this. So like I said, there's a very high interest rate. At the minimum, they'll be paying about $1 billion a year in interest.
Damn.
EA currently makes about $4 to $5 billion a year in revenue and about $2 billion a year in profit. So basically what they make in profit right now, the majority of that money will be going just paying off the interest from the loan. Not even paying off the loan. So that tells you where it is. One thing to expect from this is expect massive layoffs, massive cost cutting, probably selling off assets, selling off. Something I talked about last week is this is what private equity does in general. They're gonna have massive layoff. They're gonna cut everything down to the fucking bone. To try to maximize as many profits as possible. But this one, in this case, though, normally they do that to just make as much money as they can in the short term and then either sell it for scraps or to just bankrupt it and just cash out basically. But with this loan, they kind of have to do this just to survive. And another thing they already mentioned is that they're going to jump head on into AI to make their games for the foreseeable future. So, yeah, Gables, what's your thoughts on all this?
My initial thoughts of this is, EA is pretty much screwed for their financial future. That's entirely what I get out of this whole article stuff and the details surrounding it. I mean, just the whole 20 billion from themselves or something like that does not sound legal at all. But hell, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the legal loopholes in terms of these type of loan transaction stuff. But at the same time, I mean, if they're already going through and laying off people and possibly even like selling off assets and stuff like that, I mean, what's this gonna mean to like certain franchises? Say with EA, say like with Battlefield or like even with Madden, you know? I mean, the big old cash cows and stuff. Is this gonna be all like AI sort of like funded or something like that?
Yeah.
Could we be possibly playing like a Madden game in the future or something, which is gonna pretty like just completely AI just generated and oriented and stuff, and all of a sudden we just see random people's art just manage to be siphoned through,
Yeah.
you know, or like different people from like I don't know, different YouTube channels just randomly pop up and stuff. You got a whole bunch of legal issues from it, you know.
Pikachu's in there.
Oh, just randomly, just Pikachu, and then Nintendo gets really pissed at them, just discontinues support.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I'm just saying is there could be a lot of various things that could go wrong with this entire transaction. It's worse enough that you have to go forth and sell off your company because you're trying to survive in any way, shape, or form. But it's even worse when you have to take out a loan, a $20 billion loan, somehow, you know, from your own company's thing in order to try to, like, at least stand on some footing. And then all of a sudden, it's like all the people, or most of the people, or whatever type of turnover you're going to have to do, it's got to be doing it now, meaning whatever you try to recoup, you know, it's basically kind of like a fire sale.
Mm.
It's quintessentially like a fire sale, you know? I mean, let's take, for example, games like Battlefield and Madden, which already have like microtransaction stuff inside of them and stuff. This could be even more egregious than what we thought, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
higher prices in terms of like certain microtransactions for your whole Madden Ultimate Team, or collecting these digital like NFTs or something like that from
Oh God, MT's
the
come
initial
back.
storefront. Yeah,
God.
NFTs come back in a major way, you know. It's that type of thing where it could happen, and it has the most likely as type of thing to happen,
Mm.
because for this type of transaction, they're going to do any and everything in order to get some form of profit to try to just keep on surviving as a company. So I wish I could say more positive things about this, but at the same time, I mean, I'm just going to be front and center and blunt about it. I mean, this is going to lead to the end of EA, and it'll probably not be for this year and possibly even next year. But I'm talking about at least about the next 5 years, we could be potentially seeing EA like in an incredibly substantial, like substantially less form, maybe, but we'll see a lot of their dormant IPs go to sales to like other corporations.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is something I talked about last week. Was like they're gonna sell off all this shit, but it's like we've seen already. Like, okay, like Activision was their own spot. All right, well, like I'm not super pumped that Microsoft's buying it, but maybe this has got to be better,
No.
right? It's not. We've seen
Mm-mm.
we've seen the consolidation. It just is not great. You know, like across like okay, this like and just because somebody else is like, all right, this company's in a bad spot, somebody else is buying it, doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. You know, like
No.
um, you know, and like definitely I'm looking at like a private equity firm in Saudi Arabia being involved here. Are two like we've already seen like Saudi Arabia like they're not really they buy these things they put a ton of money like buying these things. They're not exactly hands off either. Like we seen like
No.
that Fatal Fury they put out, like they added like Cristiano Ronaldo and the DJ
Mm-hmm.
like the Crown Prince's favorite DJ for no reason. They just
Yep.
put him in the game just because
Yeah.
he likes the guy, which is wild to me. Like obviously we don't have to get into like the human ethics of it all, like with Saudi Arabia and the shitty people that run that place. But yeah, like it's just, and then you got AI involved in it. Like I'm not someone that's like all AI is bad, but like I look at like I don't want AI art, like you know, especially when I look at like AI is something that's coming for all of us. Eventually, will replace the majority of us in a lot of jobs. Like I would like we gotta kind of fight that off as much as we can, you know, and you know, in video games like that, like the AI is not going to come up with new ideas. They're just going to take things that other
No.
people already did and just make a
Exactly.
shittier version of it. Like that's not good either. And then also like less employees making video games. And like, look, EA, there's a lot of things you can rip on about EA, the company. I'm not gonna rip like I'm not someone that like wants to rip on the developers. Like they're just people trying to go in there and do the best they can and do their fucking jobs. And now they're put in a shitty situation here where it's like they gotta sit there and just like, well, like wait to get laid off. Like it's just like they're in a shitty situation where it's like, do I quit and like try to find another job in a organization or in a field where like everybody's getting laid off and it's not great right now. And like also just the idea of like this is how people get experience. And then you look at pretty much any other indie studio or AA studio or major studio that eventually grew up and got bigger, became a bigger thing. Like most of these companies came off of like these people got laid off from a big corporation or they broke off from a big corporation. They met at these corporations and then built their own studios. Like and then made their own like Super Giant that fucking make Hades 2, one of the biggest games in the world right now. Like these are just a few guys that like they met working at EA and then they broke off and then they made their own thing. And like now they're one of the biggest, one of the best companies in the world when it comes to making video games. Like situations like that will just go away. And like that's not great for long term. It's not great. And like look, like EA, like they've had a shitty history. There is no argument there. Like I will not defend them in any way or form. But like I will say EA not being around is bad. Like having Activision being gone and being just part of just absorbed into Microsoft, I would argue, honestly, I'd almost rather just like other than Bobby Kotick, I'd rather we just maybe having Activision is better. Having EA than not having EA is better to have it than not have it. It's like you just look at like Square Enix, not in the great. If they didn't have Final Fantasy 14, that company is in dire straits right now. Capcom, like the new Monster game is the best-selling game of the year right now, and they said it's disappointing. Like you look at Ubisoft. Ubisoft is in a. They just started like a new thing with Tencent this week as well. That's just like no one's really talking about, and maybe that's good for them because no one gives a shit about. But it's like I don't know. It's not great that Ubisoft's in a rough spot either. Like all these like major like we need these companies around. Like having more of these is better. It's better because it's more people doing this job. That means more games coming out.
Right.
It means more experience in the field. That means more down the line. More people doing like obviously and just people getting paid to make video games. Like that should be fucking awesome. Like it should like it just sucks that like my one hobby that I really have is video games. Obviously, because we do a podcast about it, and it just sucks that like these corporations like coming in, like I've come in and like they buy up all the best shit. Like they get popular, they buy it, and then they just ruin it, or they get so big that it's like, well, like we want to like well now we're gonna just like EA is like they're not any risk of going out of business. There's no risk. Like the company is fine. Like I said, they make $2 billion a year in profit. Like they're not going away. It's just like this is just like where the shareholder, like everybody, like all the people that are gonna get fucked by this are the ones that like all the people that like all these people, like all the top end people, all the shareholders, all the people at the top of like the organizations. Even when this thing goes bankrupt, the people that the JP Morgan that's giving out the loan, they're gonna get the money back. Like they're gonna be fine. The people that like that bought the company and when the game goes bankrupt, they're gonna be fine. The people that like sold the company, the people at the top of EA, they're going to be fine. The people that are going to pay the price are people like you and me. Like just people that just go to like, they make, you know, a week to live week to week. Like those are the ones that pay the price for this. And it just kind of fucking sucks that like, I love video games and it just sucks that like, it's just being ruined by like just greed. And it's like, we're just going like back to like Game Pass where it's just like, man, Game Pass in theory should be a great service, a really cool thing to be excited about. And it's just like, it's just hard. Like, it just sucks. Where it's just like, it is hard to like when I just miss like be able to buy a game, play a game, and not have to worry that like when I'm playing this game that I love so much, I'm like, man, I hope this game sells well enough that like this game, like these people don't lose their job or the studio doesn't close. But you know what? It doesn't fucking matter anyways. The new Dune game that came out, Dune Awakening, I think is what it's called. Sold over 1 million copies its first week. Extremely successful. Laid off half the studio this week.
Wow.
Like, no reason to lay them off. They did their job. They did a good job. They made a really great game. And that people love it, and it's doing really well. It's sold very well. It's profitable. Doesn't matter. They got laid off. You know, it's just like...
It's just it's just very cutthroat and stuff to that extent. And on top of that, it really reminds me of like an adage that I was once told, you know, it's like if you don't learn from the past, you're going to repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about the gaming industry is this is kind of feeling like it's leading to a potential crash. Not like to the extent of like say back in 1984, before the advent of like the birthing of the rebirth of video games as we know it now today. But what I'm saying is this is kind of like a different type of crash. We're talking about all these figureheads, all these different types of companies coming together and stuff, and trying to do the best of what they can do in terms of not just getting all the money that they can just think and comprehensively can get, but at the same point, it's it's bleeding so much out of the consumer base in terms of just trying to enjoy their hobby that all these cost increases, all these bigger, better type of graphics and all this other stuff, it's only leading to just one realization is it's getting too expensive to survive in the video game industry because people are taking all these risks and stuff in order to get all of the profit from any type of franchise that they create in the AAA gaming space. I mean, there's really no other explanation to it. I mean, with the EA, Activision, Ubisoft, Square Enix, Capcom, it even like say for Microsoft, PlayStation and stuff, Nintendo, it doesn't matter like what initial company it is and stuff. With how much gaming is costing in terms of production, in terms of all these other types of things, just seeing a whole bunch of these types of companies and stuff kind of simultaneously sort of like consolidate themselves into like a few because of just terrible business trends and stuff. It's just horrible to see in real time, but at the same time, it's kind of condensing itself back down to what it once was, say like when we were growing up, where gaming was around. At the same time, it wasn't nearly as big as like when it got to like the mid 2000s and the 2010s with the boom of like the Wii, the 360, the PS3 and stuff, and that generation absolutely smashing it out of the park. But well, who's to say?
Yeah.
Even if we did have some form of a gaming crash or some eventually in the next 5 years or maybe even less and stuff, I mean, we still got a whole bunch of crazy games to look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like long term. It's just like I said, EA. I think EA in the next few years will be like. I don't think we're gonna notice anything major from EA in the next couple of years. But yeah, like you said, it's one of those things where like 5 to 7 years from now. I don't know where EA will be, if around at all. But it's just to me when it's wild that like Silksong comes out and we celebrate the fact that they're only charging $20 for this thing. It's like,
yes,
why are these people that like, it's like, or like we look at like Stardew Valley where this guy like it's one guy working on this thing, and like he just keeps putting. He's been like still to this day still putting out free updates. Like this guy could have made tens of millions of more dollars, and he's just like he just does it. He just keeps adding free shit to this thing for another decade, just because he loves it. It's just like the Silksong guys. The Silksong guys, like I was listening to Jay Schreier, he was talking about. He did an interview with the people with Silksong with Team Cherry, and he's like, "How many copies have you guys sold?" He's like, "I don't actually know." Like they had to go like ask the publisher, and like he's like figure out like, "Hey, how many copies?" Like he found like we sold 15 million units. It's just like I don't know. It's just like why are these? I don't know. It's just like why are the people? I don't know. It's just one of those things where you get to like a certain point where it's like you don't care or you don't even understand it anymore. And it's just, yeah, like I said, I mean, this isn't a thing like this isn't just video games. Like we hear people like. With like when it comes to like sports, like going to sporting events or going to the movies or anything like that, where it's just like where like people like a lot of the middle class and stuff like that is just getting really priced out of things. Where you hear about like the price point of like going to concerts, the price points of like going to a football game or basketball game or like hell like UFC came here in Iowa a few months ago, and it's just like the thing didn't sell. I remember like an hour before the show started, there were still unsold tickets. And they dropped the price down. They're still selling for like $300 for like nosebleeds. It's just like, what?
Wow.
It's like that should be $25.
It should be.
Yeah, and it's just like obviously that's one thing there, but it's like it's just like that's just like kind of what we're talking about here. Where it's like, when if you have a family, if it's a wife and a kid, and our 2 kids and a husband or whatever, there's 4 or 5 of you going to see a movie. Like you want to go see a movie theaters, you're gonna drop $100. It's like I don't know. It sucks. And that's just getting the fucking door. I don't know, Gables. It's just not a fun times right now. Not a fun it's like video games supposed to be fun. I miss the days, of like like I was thinking about like there was like a podcast we did like in the super early days of this show, and it's like when Saint Row 4 came out, and we were losing our minds over the price point of like the Saints Row 4 collector's edition, because it was like $100 and it came with like some stupid like toy gun. It's like, this is ridiculous, and we were mad about that. And it's just like, man, I would give up a lot just to like go back to like this is what we're mad about, is like the stupid toy gun. They're charging $100 for it. It's like now it's like man, I beg for that to be like the big issue of the week for us, but I don't know, Gables. Man, I just want to come on this podcast and just be happy about video games, and it's just as far as like things go, like outside of like games coming out, just be happy about things that are happening in the gaming sphere, like at least the big AAA. And it doesn't feel like it's that case anymore. But let's try to get happy, Gables, with what we've been playing here. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'm gonna go first though because I do want to talk a bit about Shinobi Art of Vengeance. So last time I talked about Shinobi Art of Vengeance, I had completed like the first real like big level or something to start off the game and stuff. Went through the boss battle stuff with that red ape and stuff. Well, I did manage to play through the next couple of levels and stuff of this game, and quite honestly, I actually unlocked like a little tutorial thing too for like practicing. No, not a tutorial, but actually like a practicing like moves and combos. So after you complete like the second level, which kind of consists of you riding upon like your dog, right? Like you use like a ninja art or something, you transform your dog like into this big old like this mountable like this wolf or something. You ride him across this field, right? And the grass, and like you see this big old like demon or something like that in the background just running and stuff. In motion, it looked absolutely beautiful, Tyler. I mean, I'm not kidding, dude. It's like you're not doing too much in sort of this level besides dodging projectiles and like just defeating the like occasional ninja or something that pops up to throw like kunai knives or something. But it gives me that sort of epicness and feel from when like I was playing like Shinobi 3 on the Genesis, and that same type of a level and stuff to where I was like riding a horse and stuff, and all of a sudden you had these random shinobis like flying on kites and stuff like that, and you had to try to take them out, or like you have them like on the background or some jumping into the foreground, you have to try to cut them down and this and that. It gave me flashbacks of playing like that great Shinobi game from like years ago, from like the 2010s, right? When I first initially found the game and then started playing on the Genesis and this and that. But on top of that, I got into the next major explorable section of the stage, right? So up until then, I did the first level, did this chase level, and then it kind of branches out. There's two different levels you can choose from. Like you can either go from this one that has to do like with the festival stuff and like all these lanterns and stuff, and then there's like another separate one that you have a chance to choose. Okay, so you have two choices. You can choose between the two. So I went into this festival level, and to start things off and stuff, you're introduced to like a couple different enemy types and stuff. You're introduced to like these little goblin like little creatures or something, these little demon little goblins or something, that they barely last like maybe a few hits or something, and all of a sudden they're like taken out. But they do kind of like they'll pop up and spawn like a couple at a time and stuff, so they're more like a mob type of enemy, to where they're just straight like a DPS or something like that. But they're super weak and stuff, so just a quick dodge and then like do a couple different types of hits and stuff, and they'll be out, and they'll just be taken out. But yeah, there's just that on top of like some of the other enemies that were repeating from different stages, like the archers and this and like they have these one particular types of projectile enemies, to where this dude will just toss like a big old throwing star like an arc. And because the natural instinct, you want to go and try to take out someone, you want to try to jump over them and stuff. I've been caught quite a few times trying to jump over, and all of a sudden get hit with a kunai knife from the top, or like a
Okay.
shuriken from top or something, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, fuck. I keep instinctively want to just do it with like a drop kick or like a drop slash or something. But from navigating around this different level and stuff, I did find a couple of those Ouroboros relics. And what's kind of funny is once I eventually got to the shop that little yokai shop, you can use the different coins to unlock certain abilities that your shinobi can learn if you collect enough money in terms of unlocking them. And one of them had to do with a specific type of air combo, to where if you launch an enemy up with like the hard attack and then go launching up in the air, you can jump and then you can just do like a quick combo and just nail them down to earth and stuff. The combat is phenomenal. And I kid you not, it feels like I'm playing it feels like I'm playing like a quick like fighting game, really. Like an actual fighting game, like 2v2, like 1v1 type of stuff. Cuz I could akin this to the times when I used to play Dragon Ball Fighters on the PS4 way back when, to I can do like a specific type of combo, then all of a sudden like I can launch someone up and do like another different type of combo, and then just launch them down, do a dive kick, and then like try to do a dodge, and then all of a sudden just get like a couple things on them and stuff, and then all of a sudden I just knock them across the course. I literally did, inside of the initial practice area on this dummy, like a 200 hit combo by just screwing around with different combos I already had, right? So I could do like a light combo, like just like light, light, light. It'll launch him to the corner or some. Or if I do this one technique that I unlocked that you can just do light, heavy, it'll go into like a succession, like a quick like 1 2 3 combo, and then all of a sudden you can dodge and stuff. Just the amount of flexibility you can perform these combos while having the equipped like the right relic and stuff really opens up how you can take on specific enemies. And this comes into play when you face off against bosses in general. So for the boss of this festival level, it's like this prototype robot and stuff that they were trying to build. So basically, when you go into the level itself, you get this briefing from like one of your students, like, "Oh, hey, there's this one thing. There's like this base or something that the ENE or something like that. This evil corporation is taking like a refuge in and stuff. If you go ahead and destroy that and stuff, you'll gain some like vital information or some shit like that. But eventually, it's like you get like this boss character or something like that that'll like literally talk to support, and it's like, hey, you got to defeat this dude at all costs and stuff like that. He's gonna go forth and destroy our prototype here. And so basically, when you get to this boss fight, it's like this giant. It's not like a giant mech, but it's like this mech that could like shoot lasers and stuff and like shoot missiles. But it has a specific gimmick to it. So in this level, you get to earn this special attack, which you hold down the heavy button, like the yeah, like the strong attack button, and once it charges up, you can release it into like this punch, and it'll break through these green barriers. So the boss fight implements this green barrier. So basically, it's kind of like the Metroid approach of you earn a new ability, then all of a sudden you face off against a boss that will have that type of weakness. So it gives you a sort of tutorial of how you can use this inside the field of combat. And so it took me quite a few tries to beat this boss, I will admit, because my natural instinct is to bum rush it and just go aggro on this damn thing and then just do the dodge button when I can. But I think I died like about 4 or 5 times on this initial boss. It did not once feel frustrating. I totally felt like it was my fault because I was too impatient trying to do a couple different attacks, then dodge, and then it would go into its initial setup mode or something where it would just like either shoot the laser or just like rush at you and stuff, like crouch and rush at you. And that's another thing. You can't just basically do this charge attack or something while it's like in the standing position. No, you have to wait until it crouches down and stuff after it's either gets done to attacking or rushing and stuff. And then you can do it that way to break. And in the middle of like the boss fight itself, it starts changing a little bit of the pattern, and then all of a sudden it starts getting quicker and all this other stuff. But after about the fourth or fifth attempt, I did initially beat this boss. And yeah, much like the boss battle with the Red Abe, it's highly rewarding. I mean, I felt like I definitely got a good amount of challenge, and I'm playing on like the normal difficulty with this. And I'm not like playing on this easy stuff because I know what to expect from a Shinobi game from playing it way back when, and also in terms of my experience playing, say, Streets of Rage 4 like a couple of years ago on the normal difficulty. It's like I know I'm gonna get my ass kicked because it's one of those type of games, but at the same time, I want to learn from my mistakes here.
Yeah.
But my gosh, Shinobi Art of Vengeance so far has been really good. There definitely has been times where I've kind of like fumbled a bit in terms of the combat stuff, but at the same time, I'm just touching the surface of this. I've completed like a couple of levels. I've loved the sample size that I've gone through and done. I know it's not a particularly like long game. I think it's at least about 6 to 8 hours if I'm not mistaken. But at the same time, it encourages you to replay these levels over again because after you're done, it's like it'll go with a bar of how much you've explored.
Yeah.
And I'm frequently getting like into like the 30% range,
Hmm.
right? Because there are specific like portals you can go for and look for. There are different types of like Ouroboros relics that are hidden through each stage, and it's definitely worth it to collect these things because you get some awesome attacks, dude. You get like these type of attacks to where you can just extend combos or some or increase your health like you would in other types of games of that type. But it makes sense inside of this style of game. This 2D platformer, right? Side scroller type of game and stuff. This makes sense to have this sort of progression sort of system in it because there are different types of things you're going to find that you're not even going to see the first time around. And so having this available and stuff and making you want to go back to previous levels, yeah, it's definitely a it's definitely kind of a deep game, give or take. I mean, sure, someone that wants to put on easy mode or something could probably blaze through it in the span of like maybe 3 or 4 hours or something like that. But by doing that, you're gonna miss like a lot of good, like meaty stuff that's hidden inside of this game. It's not an RPG, but at the same time, it's like a fantastic kind of like beat 'em up.
Yeah. Huh.
But that's pretty much what I've been playing for this week.
All right. So I talked about it, like I've been playing some more Hades too, but I won't hold off
Yeah,
on that one because I don't have too much more to add on that one. I do want to mention though I did finish up Silent Hill F. This one took me
yeah,
about 9 hours, and I'm something that like I've talked about, like especially these like horror games, where like supplies are limited and stuff like that.
right, right,
I play these pretty slowly because I want to make sure I'm not missing like upgrades or
yes,
any ways to extend like how much like I know I'm missing stuff, but like I want to keep it to a limited amount, or like so I try to like make sure I'm not like I take my time with these games. And it took me about 9 hours, which honestly I feel like is perfect for these type of games. Um, yeah, like I came away from I was only a few hours in last week when I talked about it, and I was pretty blown away with it. And I'd say like honestly, it just kind of grows from there. Where um, like like the story is like it is fine. Like I'm not there like like I'll say very heavy. This game will cover some very
right,
heavy topics, and the way they kind of
yeah,
go through these things. And that's Silent Hill for you though. Like these like especially coming off like Silent Hill 2 last year, where it's like, oh man, like we're going here. This game will go some pretty dark places, so just kind of keep that in mind. But like, I think this game just does like a really good combination of like horror and
hmm,
like especially Japanese horror. Like I just find absolutely terrifying. Like this is one of the more like I say it's like games like jump scare wise, probably up there in like the top like tier for me of like games that like just made me go, oh, like I'll be like yell or scare my dog out of a dead of a sleep and he run to the other room. Uh,
So let me ask you, Tyler, did you wear your Pulse headsets and stuff while you're playing that game?
no, I'm too much of a coward. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I was like, I'm gonna do it, and I'm like, no, I can't. I no. I will say though, Gables, after about 3 hours, the English voice acting is fine. It's kind of like a if you watch like a dub of like a Netflix show or something like that, it's kind of on that level. It's fine, but it's not great. But they do recommend that you play it on like with Japanese voice acting, and I did, and it changed the game for me. I thought like the like
Hmm.
so much better. Like there's some parts where like there's voice acting like and they're talking like while I'm in combat, and I'm like trying to read the subtitles, but also like though like every now and again that happens, but it's like for the most part like you're gonna be fine. But man, like once
Hmm.
I switch over to that, like I just off the bat, if you've played this game yet, just do that. It's so much better. Um, yeah, I just thought like as the game went on and progressed, it just got so much better. I thought some like the combat is like I don't like the combat isn't game changing. I think it is totally fine for
Right.
what it is. And I feel like these type of games like you don't need like you don't need S tier combat in these style of games to like get by. Like the game is more about the atmosphere and like the horror and all that than anything else.
Yeah.
And like because of the and then plus like it's one of those things where you're playing as like a teenage girl. So it's like I'm not expecting like her to be a fucking samurai here, or like I'm not expecting Bloodborne. So like it is like, when she dodges, maybe she like kind of like a little more than you like. She's like more a little more. It's not as smooth as you like it to be when she does it or attacks. It's like, yeah, like it's not the best, but it's like also like I can like, okay, like I'm playing as a teenage girl here. It's like I'm not, I don't need her to be like a fucking master at this, but like I totally feel like it was good. It's not bad, it's not great, it's good. But like, yeah, I was completely blown away by the story. Like I said, there's multiple times where like jump scares happen and like I about shit my fucking pants. Some of the boss fights are pretty good too. Like, I don't like, they definitely are taking inspiration from like Bloodborne or like Dark Souls games. But I thought like what the game is though, like, because they are definitely basing like the gameplay off of those style games. But like I say they did a pretty decent job. And some like the boss fights, like the game is challenging at points, but it's not a crypt like oh my god, I'm never gonna get past this. Like I died a few times and like I would say like overall I probably died like 10 times throughout the game. So like not like, and I'm not the best player in the world of games, but man, I thought this game was excellent. Yeah, so I would say like if you're someone like me that like loves these style games or like looking for that horror game in October, like I would say like you get to playing Chronos and this. I'd say I would pick up Silent Hill first, and then like, but Chronos is not a bad number 2. I'd say like if you're someone that wants these style games and you're looking for one, get Silent Hill. But I would definitely say like get both. If you're like just like these games in general. But yeah, like pretty not a bad spooky season. This kind of sucks. Like 2 really good horror games came out in fucking September. Come on, get a grip, people. And then the other game I've been playing, just came out Thursday. Obviously the big one here. I've been playing Ghost of Yotei. I've only played about 7 hours. Yeah, like Hades 2 is becoming a problem for me. Where I'm like, all right. Every time I go pick up a controller, I end up picking up Hades 2. I grab the Switch controller. And I'm like, I'll do a run. And plus it's a problem where it's 30 minutes. I could play a run like, or even at most 30 minutes. But it's usually like 15, 20. But then it ends up being 2 hours. But anyways, but like, so I would jump around playing it. Like Friday night, Saturday I've been playing it. And I'm about like 6-7 hours in. And like I mean, obviously no shock here. Game is gorgeous. Combat is phenomenal. I love Atsu. Like my biggest complaint with like Ghost of Tsushima was like I thought Jetsukai was kind of like a boring character. I was not really interested in his story necessarily, or like this whole thing of like I'm a samurai. I have to do things the right way. And it's like, no, bitch, I want to stab people. Like I don't care about your story. I want to play the game my way. And like Atsu, like she's a girl that's out for revenge for these people, the Yotei 6 that killed her family. And it's like, fuck yeah, like she is on like revenge, and she's like she's peacemaker. I'm here to revenge, and I don't care how many men, women, or children I have to kill to get there, but I'm gonna do it. And like I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. But like I obviously right away love her story. The music's phenomenal. The visuals, like graphically, this is one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. Just like running around and like seeing like you see the golden birds, and like I'm gonna follow this guy to a hot spring or to some shrine or something like that, or like you find like the little foxes, and they're so cute, the little fucking foxes. God, I love them so much. And like you can pet them after, like they'll lead you to like a charm you can get to like help with your abilities, stuff like that. Like and you always get to pet them afterwards, which is just wonderful. But anyways, one of like obviously the combat is great. I've done very little as far as like story stuff. I think I've done a couple of story missions. Honestly, I don't even know if they're like required, because like the game doesn't like, it's not like all right, go explore. Like they definitely have things where they kind of like, all right, you can do whatever you want, but like they kind of like these, like if you want to like continue on the main story, like you can, like they kind of nudge you the direction you want to go, but there's no like, you don't talk to a person like, all right, here's your mission, and like you have like your mission screen with all your like, here's the side quest and here's the main quest. Like there's none of that. Like this is a game where like it just drops you into like a world. From what I understand, like this is like you can just kind of go throughout the whole world. I've only done like the first like a decent amount of like the opening section, but it is all about like, you don't even know where like the opening, by the way, is phenomenal, but like you don't even know where like the Yotei 6 are necessarily. It's literally just going around and like talking to people or exploring. Like I got into like just a random fight with some people walking around on horseback, and like like you kept one of them alive, and you can ask them questions, and like slowly
Right.
but surely they'll give you like directions to like kind of get you like, all right, well, all right, we know they're like, all right, so they're kind of in here in this area, or like they'll kind of like give you like, oh, like, or you get bounties and like, okay, like instead of getting a bounty, all right, go here and kill them there and bring them back. Like last scene they were here, so it'll kind of give you like a general area where to go, but they're not like, it's not like, okay, I just walk there and kill them and they're like cool, like it gives you in the general area, but you still gotta find them, or like there's no like all right, go here and fight these guys. It is all about like literally exploring, and like I found so like it's just like, all right, cool, I went and I like just saved this like this random family, and like cool, they like
Right.
sent me like, hey, like there's this house over here and like this thing happened, like I'm like, oh shit, and I go over there and like it's been taken over by like these like bad guys, and it's like cool, I fought these guys, and like this, and I saved this family, and I gave them back I got their house back, and like they just like brought me on this like gave me like 4 new things to go do, and I'm like cool, I just spent an hour
Oh,
doing that shit. Like it is so much about like it's about exploring, but also like I can go, like I have a general like idea like where to go to like do like to continue on the main
mhm.
story, but it is like so much of the game is like just like talking to random people, and like just going around and like just wandering, and like getting in a random like finding like random Ronins, and like getting in like those fights, or like going and doing the bounties, and on the way of like going to do these bounties, like you like find these guys, they're going after the same bounty, and then you gotta fight them to kill them to like prevent them from getting the bounty before you, or like you go and kill the guy and you're on your way back to go like give it like to tell the guy you killed him, and get your reward. These guys like random like events will happen where like these guys show up and it's like, you killed him, like, well, we want credit for it, and like they fight you for him. It's like it's just like this game is just like, it is all about like the exploration, and like, and not in like I'm not typically like, I'm not the kind of guy that like, all right, not like I want the nudges, I'm not like all about like the find everything yourself kind of guy. Like that doesn't sound like there's like the Hell of Us that came out that is like, that's like all about that game. It's like we give you no clues, there's nothing, there's like nothing at all, like gotta find it, memorize everything yourself. I don't want that. But I will say, like, especially like that's been like burnt out on the map games, or like the checklist games, or like the Ubisoft style games. Like I feel like, but I still like those style of games. They have found a really nice balance here of like, hey, there's a lot of stuff you can do, but like we're not gonna just like, hey, you get to a new section, there's 8 camps, there's 6 hot springs, there's 4 of these. It's like go do them. And it's like, no, it's like it's all about like it's, but it's like it's all about finding those things, or like, or finding like someone giving you a clue to like get you to a general area. It's all, but and it feels so much better too when you find it yourself than like I'm just wandering. I'm just gonna like walk to this direction, do that thing, check that list. Like, and I get there's people that like that stuff, but like I just think, I mean, I think they found a really good formula here that's in the middle, and like, yeah, like I said, I was something that burnt out on Ghost of Tsushima as much as like I thought the gameplay was great. Like there's so much that was gorgeous stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, like if the story can keep up and Atsu the character can stay like this, like, and like continue on, and like the Yotei 6 are as interesting as they seem, and like the exploration part of things, like finding random events throughout the world to keep up like with this, man, this game is gonna be like an all-timer. But yeah, so far, like I said, 6-7 hours in, I'm having a great time with it. But like I said, I think I've done like 2 actual like story quests, like, and the rest of the games has been me like just wandering. So yeah, I think that, yeah, my dog's now. Oh, you all right over there, Lou? Oh, good lord. Okay, you okay? He's choking over here. He's fine though now. Anyways, I think this is gonna wrap it up for this week, guys. If you guys like the show, like what we're doing, please like, follow, subscribe. We do the show every Saturday night. Goes up Sunday morning. So if you guys want to support us, please do all that. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, whatever. If you want to support us on YouTube, though, like, that we really appreciate it. That's probably honestly the best place to go to. Even if you don't want to, like, you listen to us on services, but you want to, like, just go over there to YouTube, subscribe. You don't have to watch us. Subscribe. Help us get those buttons up. Help us with the algorithm. Really, really appreciate it. But I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds Podcast.
Hey, Gables.
Yeah.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.